The rain fell heavy on the concrete paths of Sector 7, where the sky burned violet through the atmospheric dome and the metallic towers hummed with distant engines. She sat there, hunched against the brick wall, her lavender skin glistening with rain and tears, her body trembling as figures passed without a glance. The words still echoed in her ears: freak, burden, mistake, while her child watched from behind a discarded shipping container, small hands gripping yellow fabric. No one stopped. No one cared, until a man crouched down beside her, his eyes holding something the colony had forgotten: compassion. And what happened next would ripple through the stars in ways no one could predict. Before we start, subscribe now so you don't miss more incredible stories like this one. Oh, and before we dive in, tell us in the comments, where are you watching this video from? We love hearing from you and always read every message. The colony of New Eden sprawled beneath artificial skies, a junction point where 17 species converged for trade, politics, and survival. But Sector 7 was different. It was where the forgotten gathered. Those who couldn't afford the upper districts, whose bodies didn't fit the sleek efficiency the colony demanded. The architecture here was older, crumbling, patched with rust and improvised repairs. Neon signs flickered in languages both human and alien, casting fractured light across puddles that never dried. Liara sat against the wall of an abandoned warehouse, her breathing labored, her body aching from the effort of simply existing in a world not built for her. She was Veltharian, a species known for their elegance, their slender forms, their grace. But Liara was different. Her body was heavy, soft, rounded in ways her people considered shameful. Back on Velthar Prime, she had been a scientist, brilliant and respected. Then the accident happened. The metabolic destabilization. The weight that wouldn't stop accumulating. The whispers that turned to shouts. She fled to New Eden with her daughter Mira, hoping for a fresh start. Instead, they found new cruelty. "Move along, you're blocking the pathway," growled a Krathan security officer, his segmented carapace gleaming under the dome lights. He prodded her shoulder with his stun baton, not enough to shock but enough to humiliate. Liara tried to stand. Her legs trembled. Pain shot through her joints like electric fire. I'm trying," she whispered, her voice hoarse. "Please, I just need a moment. You need a transport. Or a diet," the officer sneered. Behind him a crowd gathered, humans, aliens, children with recording devices. Some laughed, others simply watched, their faces empty of emotion. "Mama," Mira's voice cut through the rain. The little girl ran forward, her yellow raincoat too big for her small frame, her pointed ears, so like her mother's, pressed flat against her head in distress. "Stay back, Mira." Liara reached out, but her daughter was already there, small arms wrapping around her neck with desperate strength. "Leave my mama alone," Mira shouted at the officer, her voice fierce despite her size and fear. The crowd laughed harder. Someone shouted something crude in galactic standard. The officer raised his baton higher, preparing to force them both away. "That's enough." The voice was calm, steady, cutting through the noise like a blade through water. The crowd quieted. Even the rain seemed to soften. A man stepped forward. Human. Mid-30s. Dark hair plastered to his forehead, gray-green shirt soaked through and clinging to his frame. He positioned himself between the officer and Liara, his posture relaxed but immovable, like a wall that had weathered too many storms to be intimidated by one more. "She's not breaking any laws," the man said quietly, "and neither is her daughter." The officer's mandibles clicked in irritation. "This doesn't concern you, human. Move along or I'll cite you for interference. It concerns me now, and you can cite whatever you want." The man didn't raise his voice, didn't threaten, didn't posture. But something in his eyes, Something worn and tired but unbreakable made the officer hesitate. Maybe it was the scars on his knuckles. Maybe it was the way he stood, like someone who'd learned to be a wall when necessary. The officer stepped back, muttering something about human interference, and waved the crowd away with an irritated gesture. Slowly, they dispersed, disappointed their entertainment was over. The man turned and crouched beside Liara, his eyes level with hers. Up close, she could see the weariness in his face, the lines around his eyes that spoke of sleepless nights and hard choices. But she also saw something else, something she hadn't seen in another person's eyes in so long. She'd almost forgotten what it looked like. Recognition. "Are you hurt?" he asked gently, his voice pitched low so only she could hear. Liara shook her head, unable to speak past the tightness in her throat. "Can you walk?" I don't know, I can't. My legs, they won't." Her voice broke. The man glanced at Mira, who clutched her mother tighter, then looked back at Liara. His expression was kind, patient, free of judgment. "My name is Ethan," he said. "And you're not staying out here tonight, not in this rain, not like this." We can't," Liara began. "Yes, you can, and yes, you will. Come on, one step at a time." But while the crowd dispersed into the neon-lit streets, none of them noticed the surveillance drone hovering above the warehouse roof or the emblem it carried. The mark of the colony's Migration Control Bureau, already flagging Liara's biometric signature for immediate review and potential deportation proceedings. Ethan's apartment was small, located on the 4th level of a residential tower that groaned with age. The elevator was broken, so he carried Liara up the stairs, one arm supporting her back, the other under her legs, moving slowly, carefully, never once making her feel like a burden, despite the strain she could see in his jaw. Mira followed close behind, her small hand gripping his shirt. Inside, the apartment was modest but clean. A single room with a kitchenette, a sleeping alcove, and a window overlooking the sector's main thoroughfare. Children's drawings covered one wall, colorful scenes of spaceships and alien worlds. A small bed sat in the corner, clearly belonging to a child. "Where's your—" Liara began, but the question died when she saw the photograph on the shelf. A woman with kind eyes, her arm around a younger-looking Ethan, real flowers placed beside it. "She passed 2 years ago," Ethan said quietly, setting Liara down on the couch. "Cancer. The treatments here aren't what they promised. I'm so sorry," Liara whispered. "Me too." He turned to Mira, who stood frozen by the door. "Hey, you hungry?" Mira nodded slowly. "I've got some soup and bread. Not fancy, but it's warm." He moved to the kitchenette, pulling out containers. "You can sit on the bed if you want. There's books there. My son loves those stories. He's with his grandmother tonight." While Ethan heated the soup, Liara watched him move through the small space with practiced efficiency. There was a gentleness to him, a carefulness in how he handled the bowls, how he spoke to Mira. "Why did you help me?" she asked suddenly. Ethan paused, his back to her. For a moment he didn't answer. Then, "Because no one helped us when we needed it." He turned, carrying 2 bowls. He handed one to Mira, then brought the other to Liara. "When my wife got sick, we lost everything. Medical debt, lost our housing in the upper levels, ended up here. People, they see you falling, and they step over you, like you're already gone." His voice was steady, but his jaw was tight. "I watched people I thought were friends walk past us on the street, watched them pretend they didn't see us." He sat on the floor, leaning against the wall. "I swore I'd never be that person. I swore that if I saw someone who needed help, I'd stop, even if it was hard, even if it cost me something." He looked directly at Liara. "My son needs to know that's how the world should work. Not by stepping over each other, but by reaching down. "You have a son. You shouldn't risk your safety for strangers," Liara said. "Risk what? Being human?" Ethan's eyes held hers. "My son knows what his mother taught us. We take care of each other. That's not negotiable. That's who we are." Outside, the neon lights flickered. Rain drummed against the window. For the first time in months, Liara felt warm. She felt safe. But as she sipped the soup, a knock echoed through the apartment, sharp, authoritative, unmistakable. "Migration Control Bureau," a voice announced from the hall. "Open the door, now." Mira dropped her bowl. Liara's heart seized. Ethan stood slowly, his expression hardening. He walked to the door, but before opening it, he glanced back at Liara. "Whatever happens," he said quietly, "you're not going back out there tonight. I don't care what they say." And just when everyone thought the night would end in safety, the door slid open to reveal 3 armored officers, and the lead inspector's eyes locked onto Liara with cold recognition. The lead inspector was human, a woman with sharp features and steel-gray hair pulled back severely. Her uniform bore the insignia of Migration Control, 3 overlapping circles. Her tablet glowed in her hands. The officers flanking her were Krathen, their exoskeletons clicking with each movement. "Liara Veshna," the inspector said, reading from the tablet. "Veltharian national. Expired residential permit as of 16 days ago. Outstanding medical debts totaling 47,000 credits. Multiple violations of housing ordinances." She looked up. "You've been flagged for immediate deportation." "She's my guest," Ethan said firmly. "She's not breaking any laws by being here. Her presence in the colony is the violation." "Mr. Reed." "Ethan Reed." The inspector made a note. "Mr. Reed, I understand your charitable impulses, but this individual has exhausted her legal options. She'll be processed and returned to Velthar Prime within 72 hours, and her dependent will be placed in temporary colony custody." "No!" Liara's voice cracked. She tried to stand but collapsed back. "Please, you don't understand. If I go back, they'll take my daughter. I'll be sent to a reclamation facility. I'll never see her again." "That's a matter for Veltharian authorities," the inspector said without emotion. "Our jurisdiction ends at the colony border." "She's not going anywhere," Ethan said, and there was steel in his voice now. The inspector's eyes narrowed. "Interfering with a migration control operation is a criminal offense, Mr. Reed. You'll be detained as well, and your son will be placed in social services. Is that what you want?" "If that's what it takes." Silence filled the apartment. Mira clutched her mother, shaking with silent sobs. Liara reached for her daughter's hand, squeezing tight. The inspector stepped forward, her hand moving toward the restraints on her belt. "Mr. Reed, I don't want to escalate this, but if you insist—" "What's your name?" Ethan asked suddenly, his tone shifting. The inspector blinked. "Excuse me?" "Your name, not your title. Your name." "Inspector Carver. Why does that?" "Inspector Carver. Do you have children?" Carver's jaw tightened. "That's irrelevant." "It's not." Ethan's voice was gentle now. "Because if you did, you'd understand what she's fighting for. You'd understand that sometimes the law gets it wrong, that sometimes mercy is more important than procedure, that sometimes we have to choose between what's legal and what's right. The law exists for a reason," Carver said, but her tone wavered. "So does compassion. So does humanity." Ethan took a step closer. "Look at them. Really look at them. A mother trying to protect her child. A little girl who's done nothing wrong. Are you really going to tear them apart because of paperwork?" For a long moment, no one moved. Mira's quiet sobbing was the only sound. Inspector Carver stared at Ethan, then at Liara. then at the little girl in the yellow raincoat. Something flickered across the inspector's face, something human beneath the professional mask. Finally, Carver closed her tablet with a decisive snap. You have 24 hours to file an appeal. If you can present evidence of gainful employment and proper sponsorship, along with a payment plan for outstanding debts, we'll review her case for provisional status. She turned to the officers. We're done here. Ma'am, one of the Cretan officers protested. I said we're done. Move out. They left. The door hissed shut. Ethan exhaled and sank onto the couch, his hands shaking now. Why did you do that? Liara whispered. You could have been arrested. Your son could have been taken. Would have been worth it, he said simply. 24 hours isn't enough. I don't have employment, I don't have sponsorship, I don't have anything. You have me. I'll sponsor you. I work at the recycling plant. If I can prove I'm financially responsible for you and Mira, they'll grant you a provisional permit. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you're a mother fighting for her daughter. I know you need help. That's all I need to know. Tears streamed down Liara's face. You can't risk your future for strangers. You're not strangers anymore. Mira looked up at Ethan, her eyes wide. Are you going to save my mama? Ethan knelt down eye level with her. I'm going to try as hard as I can, but I'll need your help. Can you be brave for me? Mira nodded, trembling but determined. Good. He stood and moved to a battered terminal. First thing tomorrow, we file the paperwork. But tonight, you both need rest. As Liara lay back, exhausted, she watched Ethan work through forms on the screen, his profile illuminated by pale blue glow. She didn't understand him, didn't understand how someone could give so much, and just when everyone thought they would break, something was revealed that no one expected. Ethan's terminal pinged with an incoming message. Velthar Embassy, urgent legal notice. Morning light filtered through the dome. Liara woke to synthetic coffee and Ethan's urgent voice on his comm device. I understand the complexity, but there has to be precedent. Check the Galactic Refugee Act of 2187, Section 12. He paused. I don't care if it's obscure. It's still law. Mira was asleep on the bed. Ethan glanced over and ended the call. The Velthar Embassy message came through last night, he said, showing her his tablet. Liara read it, her blood turning cold. Subject: Liara Veshna. Active criminal investigation. Wanted for equipment destruction, theft of proprietary research. Extradition requested. They're claiming I stole research, Liara whispered. That's not true. They're making it up to force me back. Tell me what really happened, Ethan said gently. All of it. Liara took a shuddering breath. I was a neurogeneticist, one of the best on Velthar Prime. I worked on cognitive enhancement protocols for deep space exploration. The work required exposure to high-intensity neural stimulation. We had safeguards. But one day the containment field failed. She touched her temple. I was caught in the pulse, full exposure. I should have died. Instead, my brain rewired itself. My metabolism destabilized. The weight gain was immediate and irreversible. You survived something impossible, Ethan said. That's not weakness. That's extraordinary. My people don't see it that way. They see failure. The facility claimed I disabled the safety protocols myself. They said the weight gain was evidence of mental instability, that I couldn't be trusted with Mira. Her voice broke. They wanted to take her away, put me in a reclamation facility, so I ran. The research they claim you stole. My own notes, my own work. But technically, under Veltharian employment law, it belonged to the facility. It's worth millions. If someone could figure out how to apply my neural adaptation safely, it would revolutionize space travel. Ethan leaned back, processing. So they want you back because you're profitable. Exactly. A knock at the door. Ethan opened it to reveal a young boy with dark curly hair and bright eyes, wearing a shirt with a spaceship on it. "Dad!" The boy rushed in and hugged Ethan. "Hey, kiddo, how was Grandma's?" "Good. She made real pancakes." The boy noticed Liara and Mira. "Who are they?" "This is Liara and her daughter, Mira. They're staying with us. I need you to be extra kind, okay?" "Okay. I'm Jonah. Do you like spaceships?" Mira peeked over the bed edge. "Yes," she said shyly. "Me too. Want to see my models?" Within minutes, the children were on the floor, laughing together, a sound that filled the apartment with hope. Ethan's comm beeped. The legal aid lawyer found something. "There's a provision. If you possess unique skills valuable to the colony, deportation can be delayed. But my credentials are on Veltar." "Then we don't use credentials. We use knowledge." Ethan pulled up schematics. "The recycling plant's been trying to automate neural sorting systems for months. The AI keeps failing. Someone with your background could solve it." "I haven't worked in months. I don't know if I can." "You just have to be better than their AI. Can you do that?" Liara thought of Mira laughing, of the chance to build something here. "Yes," she whispered. "I can do that." It wasn't just knowledge, it was legacy. And suddenly, as Liara's fingers moved across the screen with growing confidence, everyone in that small apartment understood they were witnessing something extraordinary. The recycling plant sprawled across Sector 5, a massive complex of conveyor belts and towering incinerators. Ethan brought Liara through the employee entrance, the children staying in the observation deck with a kind Thorian woman named Kelsa. Inside the control room, chaos reigned. Alarms blared, engineers shouted. On the main screen, a digital map showed the facility's neural network in red. System failure imminent. "We're losing the east processing line," barked the shift supervisor Torres. "If it goes down, we're looking at a 2-week backlog. The colony will drown in waste." Ethan approached with Liara. "Torres, I brought someone who can help." Torres looked skeptical. "Who's this?" "Dr. Liara Veshna, neurogeneticist. She specialized in adaptive neural networks." "I don't care if she's the Queen of Velthar," Torres snapped. "Unless she can reprogram a failing AI in 30 minutes, she's useless. If you screw this up, the entire facility goes down." "Give me access to your system," Liara said quietly. Something in her tone made Torres hesitate. "Terminal 3, 20 minutes. That's it." Liara moved to the terminal, her movements slow but deliberate. Her fingers found the interface, and suddenly it was like stepping back into her old life. The neural network's architecture appeared, elegant but flawed. She could see it immediately. "You're using a static learning model," she murmured. "That's your problem. Your AI learns from past data, but it can't extrapolate forward. It's like teaching someone to recognize apples and then asking them to identify a pear." Her fingers flew across the keys. "You need dynamic heuristic adaptation, something that recognizes patterns it's never seen before." The room fell silent as she worked. 10 minutes passed, then 15. "Time's up," Torres said. "I have to shut it down." "Wait," Ethan said. "One more minute." Liara entered the final command. The alarm stopped. On the main display, the red network shifted to yellow, then to green. Processing efficiency climbed from 42% to 78% in seconds. "What the hell?" Torres breathed. "It's learning," Liara said softly. "Give it an hour. It'll reach 90% efficiency." The room erupted in cheers. Torres stared at the screen, then at Liara. "Consider yourself hired. Full-time, specialist rate." That afternoon, they filed updated sponsorship forms. Inspector Carver reviewed the documents and stamped approval. "Provisional residency granted," she said. 1 year. Renewable pending good standing. As they left, Carver called after them. "What you did? It's rare. People here don't usually fight for each other." "Maybe they should," Ethan said. Carver nodded slowly. Maybe they should. But the final transformation came not from words. It came from a transmission that night. The Velthar embassy, formally withdrawing all charges, citing new evidence of equipment malfunction, signed by Dr. Kalen Veshna, Liara's former mentor, who'd finally found the courage to tell the truth. 3 months passed. Liara's algorithm transformed the recycling plant. Efficiency reached 94%. Other facilities requested her consultation. She found a physician who understood her condition, not a cure but management and dignity. Mira started school. She and Jonah were inseparable. One evening, Ethan came home with a datapad. "The Colony Council wants to meet with you. They're proposing a new initiative. Integration support for refugee specialists. You'd help design it." Liara stared at the proposal. It was real. "This is because of you," she said. "This is because of you," Ethan replied. "You proved people are more than their circumstances." The next day, Liara stood before the Colony Council, presenting her framework for refugee integration, skills assessment, mentorship programs, legal support. Questions came, challenges, concerns. Liara answered each one, her voice steady, her knowledge undeniable. The vote was unanimous. As she walked out, Ethan waited with Jonah and Mira. The children ran forward, hugging her. "You did it, Mama," Mira squealed. Ethan smiled. "How does it feel to change the world?" "Like coming home," Liara said. 2 years later, the Integration Center stood at Sector 7's heart, a gleaming structure built from recycled materials. Liara's program was replicated on 17 colonies. She spoke at conferences, advised governments, but always returned to Sector 7. On the anniversary of the night they met, Liara organized a gathering in the center's courtyard. 2 years ago, she began, I sat in the rain, convinced the universe had no place for me. But one man proved me wrong, not with grand gestures, with a simple choice, to see me as a person, to act when others walked away. She gestured to Ethan. This center exists because of that choice, because we remembered that compassion isn't weakness, that the smallest act of kindness can reshape the stars. Applause filled the courtyard. Later, Liara found Ethan by the courtyard's edge, looking up at the dome. "What are you thinking?" she asked. "That my wife would have loved this," he said softly. "She always believed in second chances, in fighting for what's right. She'd be proud of you. She'd be proud of us, all of us." Mira and Jonah ran past, their laughter bright and wild. "Do you think they'll remember what it took to get here?" Ethan asked. "I think they'll remember that love is louder than hate, that courage is contagious, that family isn't just who you're born to, it's who stands beside you when the world tells you to fall." Ethan smiled. "That's a good thing to remember. Far above, beyond the dome, beyond the colony, beyond the systems and the stars, the universe turned in its ancient dance. Indifferent, infinite, unchanged, but on one small world, in one small sector, in one small courtyard, people gathered. They laughed, they remembered, they hoped. And that, in the end, was everything. In a universe built on arrogance and division, sometimes a single act of dignity is enough to shift the stars themselves. Not because the stars care, but because we do. And that makes all the difference.